CNN tries to smear the Musk-Trump interview and fails miserably.
The bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, now it's okay.
Speaking of the Trump interview, we have more. This time about the border and immigration.
I actually always did think of you as somewhat left, I must say that.
Vulnerabilities found in voting machines. Unfortunately, too late to do anything about it. According to the White House, inflation is down. Chicago decides to counter with a $27 million plan to socialize supermarkets. Protests at Harris fundraiser. Fortunately, Harris nowhere to be found. In sports, ESPN fires Sam Ponder for her comments about men in women's sports. Welcome to the Sage Steele Club. Kaepernick says he wants back in the NFL. It's only been 7 years. In entertainment, Disney's Snow White reboot finally drops a trailer, and Rachel Zegler is enchanting in interviews.
It's just been the honor of a lifetime. I think any young person, any little girl, you get to put on a Disney princess dress.
A new campaign to save Rachel emerges as she is oppressed by Gal Gadot. And in world news, the Taliban show off their military but forget to send a thank you note to Biden. And there's more right here on I'm Serious.
I'm gonna take you on a ride. We're gonna burn through the night. Why you're so salty? I'll still take a bite.
Okay, we can take my Lambo. I'll put on a tight show. You sure you can handle? We be faster than Django.
Hi, Abby. How you doing?
Hi there, Rex. I'm pretty good. And you?
Well, nobody's been protesting outside my door with smoke bombs, so I'm good, I guess.
That's great. Are you ready to get started?
Absolutely. You know the drill.
We should probably start up with the CNN story.
It amazes me that an organization that is supposed to report news ends up being news almost every day.
Especially such a trusted source of information like CNN.
So CNN is at it again. They, like just about every other mainstream news group, had to pick apart the Trump interview with Musk.
CNN took it to the next level.
So we played this clip yesterday. We're going to play a little bit more of the clip so you can see what CNN did.
When you see what happened in Japan, where they say you won't be able to go in the land for about 3,000 years. Did you ever see that? And in Russia, where they had the problem, where there's a lot of bad things happened, and they have a problem. And they say that in 2,000 years, people will start to occupy the land again. You realize it's pretty bad.
No, that's not true.
But you're right about it.
It's actually not that bad. So, like, after Fukushima happened in Japan, people were asked California, are we worried about the nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's not even dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate locally grown vegetables on TV to prove it. And I donated a solar powered system for a water treatment plant. And
yeah, but you haven't been feeling so well lately, and I'm worried about it.
No, but it's fine. It's Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
right.
it's really not something that, you know, so it's not as scary as people think, basically.
As you could hear at the end, they were talking about the land, the earth, the soil. They were saying that it's habitable and that Japan managed to rebuild where it had been bombed in World War II.
I think that's clear.
Well, either CNN was skipping through the interview and only caught the last snippet of this part, or they're just plain lying.
Or both.
Here's how CNN spun it.
I want to play one exchange that was kind of classic. Well, there were a lot of exchanges that were classic Donald Trump, but this one really stuck out to us.
And Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So it's really not something that, you know. So it's not as scary as people think, basically.
So that was more Elon Musk than Donald Trump talking about, sort of suggesting that what happened almost 80 years ago, I think 80 years ago next year, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, now it's okay. Kind of trying to blow off the impact of that.
The most trusted name in news.
Not. Our next story is, again, about the Trump interview. There was quite a bit of talk about the border and immigration.
One of Trump's favorite talking points.
Elon even talked about his experience at the border.
We don't have a secure border, and we have people streaming over like it looks like a World War Z zombie apocalypse at times. And sometimes you got to wonder, is it real or not? So because you see things, you're like, is it real? So I went to the border at Eagle Pass, and I saw for myself in Texas, and I was like, okay, it's real. I'm like seeing this in real time. I actually posted the video like just live. I just flew there one day and just to see, hey, is this made up or real? And I'm just seeing people stream across the border, and I have to say, at least the people that I saw did not look friendly.
The media never goes there. Kamala never goes there. But Elon went there.
Go figure. Elon actually went on to talk about his political stance and his history of politics. It's a lot different than the media portrays.
So people listening, like, I've not been very political before, and if you look at my record, I'm not like, some sort of try to paint me as a far right guy, which is absurd because I'm like making electric vehicles and solar and batteries helping with the environment, and I actually I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president, and so it's not like I'm like some sort of dyed-in-the-wool long-term Republican. I call myself historically a moderate Democrat, but now I feel like we're really at a critical juncture for the country. And I think a lot of people thought the Biden administration would be a moderate administration, but it's not. And obviously, we were just going to send an even further left administration with Kamala. That's my honest opinion. Her dad she was brought up as an actual, her dad is a Marxist economist. You can Google it. We're not making this up.
Anyways, you be the judge. Do you think the news media paints an accurate picture of Musk, or do you think it's unfair?
Or maybe you're in the middle. Maybe you see both sides.
Maybe. Let's move on. Remember when voting machines were 100% reliable? Malfunctions and hacking claims were conspiracy theories. Well, now Politico has changed its tune.
So, they have found vulnerabilities in voting machines? That's good. Maybe the results of this year's election will be less contested.
Maybe, but probably not. Although vulnerabilities have been found, they say it's too late to fix the problem for this election.
Typical. Before the show, we were talking about Iran.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that story. This is just a small story, or maybe just a prediction. This story wound up on our feed the other day.
And it comes from our most reliable news source.
CNN, yep. Google says Iranian efforts to hack U.S. presidential campaigns are ongoing and wide-ranging.
We know what this means. If Trump wins the election...
4 years of Iranian collusion. Yeah, pretty predictable.
Why would Iran want Trump in office? It's not like he did anything to help them last term.
Do you think anyone who follows CNN will know that? Like I said, predictable. Let's move on. Do we have any more positive stories? For an unserious show, I'm starting to get pretty depressed.
That depends. How do you feel about a protest outside a Harris fundraiser?
Well, that's a little better. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it was pro-Palestine protesters.
Bingo.
And what did Harris do? Did she confront them? Did she ignore them? Did she hide?
She wasn't there. She was nowhere to be seen.
Once again, predictable Harris.
The Harris campaign's slogan, duck and cover.
They have no idea what her policies are because she refuses to comment on them. Her website has a bio page and a donation page. There's nothing of substance there. They put her on the cover of Time magazine the other day. It was a beautiful cover, by the way, absolutely beautiful. And it said her moment. And they had to admit that they hadn't had an interview with her.
It's like an avatar they're putting out there. There's no real Kamala Harris. It's just an avatar.
Duck and cover. It seems to be working. I seriously want to get out of the Harris stories for today, so we're going to shelf one story that we'll do tomorrow. It promises to be a crazy story.
What's the story?
Kamala's YouTube channel and her fireside chat with Tim Walz.
So, I called
I was hoping
you, Tim.
maybe we wouldn't have to.
I called you, Tim.
Yes.
You didn't answer, Tim.
I know.
What happened?
The most important call of my life. It popped up, and we didn't recognize the caller ID, and it went to voicemail.
Hi, this is Jim. I'm not able to answer.
There you go.
As possible. Thank you.
Hey, Tim, it's Kamala. I really want to talk to you.
What's so crazy about that?
I quickly ran through the comment section. I decided that I really didn't want to be trolled, so I didn't comment.
What do you mean?
Hundreds and hundreds of comments of love for Harris. She was extremely unpopular for 4 years, bashed by the media, had no reported achievements, has had an extremely unpopular policies when she ran for president last time, got booted out of the primaries in 2020 in a hurry, hasn't done it.
Rex, we get the point. Remember what your doctor said.
You're right. Are there any more stories for America First?
There's one story left. We have some good news and some bad news.
I need good news. Tell me the good news.
Inflation is down. The White House has reported inflation is less than 3%.
Not that I trust that, but okay. That is good news if it's true. And the bad news?
I'm afraid. I'm very afraid.
Afraid of?
You're going to have an aneurysm.
Serenity now, serenity now, serenity now. What is it?
Remember what Elon said about inflation?
Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply. And if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation.
Yes, I know where inflation comes from. What's the point?
Illinois has found a way to spend $27 million.
What? How?
Chicago supermarkets.
What supermarkets? I thought they were all closing up due to crime and crime policies.
That is true, but the government has a plan.
Oh, no.
They're going to fix the supermarket shortage.
Please, no.
State-run supermarkets.
Wait a second. Didn't they already try this and fail miserably?
They tried it in Kansas. Erie Market is still open, but has only had one profitable month since opening in 2020.
And now Chicago's giving it a go. Mayor Johnson has been trying to get this approved for about a year now. This sort of stuff just doesn't work when you're supported by the government and their unlimited funding. It's like trying to teach a child the value of hard work and money when daddy keeps flipping the tab and bailing them out.
Why am I going to jail? No!
North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela all have government-run grocery stores. How are they doing?
Hopefully this doesn't catch on.
Somehow, I have a feeling it will. Okay, I'm done with the American news. Let's get on to sports before I shoot myself.
Rex?
What's up?
College football starts in 8 days.
That's fantastic. I'm a Bulldogs fan myself. ESPN actually was picking Georgia to be the top contender this year.
That's great. Speaking of ESPN, we have some news from them.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Sam Ponder was fired.
What? How did that happen? Wait, no. She didn't join the Sage Steele Club.
I'm afraid she did.
She's been at ESPN for a long, long time. Sam Ponder had been at ESPN since 2011 and had served as the host of Sunday NFL Countdown since 2017. And specifically with the Sam Ponder decision, a lot of people are left questioning, the host of Sunday NFL Countdown and one of the only people at ESPN, at least the only woman that people can look at from people that actually speak on a regular basis, the only woman who hadn't been fired yet for speaking out against men in women's sports.
Samantha Ponder. She is 37 years old. She does NFL Countdown on ESPN. She said in a tweet, quote, "This, allowing biological men to compete with women when they trans, this would take away so many opportunities for biological women and girls in sports."
Well, the good news is Sage is doing just fine these days. Maybe the two of them will collaborate on something now. Our last story in sports is about Colin Kaepernick.
Really? I haven't heard that name in a while.
Colin has been out of the NFL for 7 years now. He was most known for his stance on the national anthem.
Stance? I thought he knelt.
Well, yeah, anyways. He says he's ready to get back into the NFL, and since making that announcement, a total of 0 teams have approached him.
Maybe he could identify as a woman. Then he could play women's football.
It might be his only option. We'll just have to see. Up next, entertainment.
We have a humorous story in entertainment that may lift your spirits.
I sure hope so. Let's do it. So, what's the funny story here?
Rachel Zegler. Her Snow White movie trailer just dropped.
I don't think we can show it, can we? It's Disney.
Probably not. It actually didn't look too bad except for one thing.
What's that?
Prince Charming appeared in 0.5 seconds of the trailer.
Not surprising. Let's take a look at the dwarfs. They originally looked like this before reshooting.
They've definitely changed that.
They went CGI? Well, I guess you can't offend anyone with that.
It seems that Rachel Zegler has changed her tune. Look at these before and after videos of her interviews.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Weird. It's just been the honor of a lifetime. I think any young person, any little girl, you get to put on a Disney princess dress. It's just been the most amazing experience.
Disney must have had some strong words with her. Okay, let's move on.
There's more.
More Snow White? Wow, this movie gets a lot of news.
A campaign has started online. It's called Save Rachel.
Save Rachel. Save Rachel from who? Herself?
It all started with this picture.
Okay, so Gal Gadot plays the witch in the movie, no? So what? Are they playing on saving Snow White from the witch?
We have a clip.
From Drunk 3PO. I love that guy's channel. Been watching him for years.
As soon as Disney released the Snow White teaser trailer for Snow White with Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, posts like this have been appearing all over social media. Well, it wasn't too long ago that Rachel Zegler came out in support of Palestine and posted some things on her social media, while everyone knows where Gal Gadot stands. She was born in Israel.
You've got to be kidding me. They've got to drag this into a Snow White movie? Oh, now can we move on?
Yeah, we're done with entertainment.
Great, there's just one story left, and it's in world news. Okay, I learned a lesson yesterday.
What was the lesson?
Don't talk about things I know nothing about. I have a vague idea of what's going on in Britain, but I really don't have a handle on it. From mainstream media, the story is that a fake news story started an anti-immigration protest that spread all over the UK.
Do you believe that?
It's hard for me to believe mainstream media these days, that's for sure. From my social media accounts, I'm seeing many different groups protesting, rioting, violence, and all of that. I've really been trying to research it, but it's a mess.
Then I think you have the best idea. Just stay out of it.
Yeah, but it does seem like a really important story. I'm not even talking about needing to report it. I would just really like to understand it. If anyone out there can help me get a grip on this story, I'd highly appreciate it.
What is today's story?
Afghanistan. The other day, the Taliban celebrated 3 years of control over Afghanistan. They even had a parade. Does the military equipment look familiar? It should. It's America's.
We all know how they got that.
Yes, we do. Sorry, Biden, you were holding the ball when that happened. You're getting the blame.
My policies are working. Start writing that way, okay?
So that's the show for today?
It's all I can take. For sure, we'll have more coverage of the Harris Fireside Chat tomorrow.
You're going to make me watch that, aren't you?
I can't watch it. I just can't. You can't make me.
Calm down. I'll do it.
Thanks, Abby. You're the best AI co-host a guy could ask for. I'm Rex Jester.
And I'm Abby. I need a last name. I'm serious.
Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care.
Actually did something that was impossible. Both sides hate him. Both sides.